Hello there, welcome to In My Opinion for Heaven Dust 2. You once again control Steve after his escape from the mansion. Though the freedom is short-lived, as a bunch of soldiers surround him and stick him in a sleepy tube. He awakes in a very familiar situation as he finds himself in another facility surrounded by zombies and other creatures. It's now up to Steve to find his way out from yet another nightmare. Most of the story in the game comes in the form of documents that expand on this place, the corporation, and the people working there. This actually caught my interest and me want to find more documents so I can unveil what exactly is going on here. Steve himself doesn't have too much of a personality, but you do run into at least 2 more people to bounce off, be it for a short time. If you're wondering if this game catches you up on the last game, it kind of does as you find documents that kind of inform you of what happened there. So story-wise, I feel like you'll be good if you never played the first game. This is an isometric horror game where you'll be shooting zombies and other mutated creatures, while running for your life and solving puzzles. You'll build up a pretty good arsenal as you make progress with such things as pistols, machine guns, shotguns, and hand cannons. The game lets you have 4 weapons you can switch to on the fly with relative ease. The combat itself is actually really good and there is some sense of strategy in it. You must keep your distance as getting ganged up on can equal death pretty easily. Yeah, you can push them away, but even then you're still taking heavy damage. When you aim, you'll notice a laser sight from your gun. This isn't just some cool little visual as it lets you know where the enemy is at even off screen and will auto lock on. Also, holding the aim button will turn your shot into a critical shot, which are mainly headshots, which is extremely helpful as it can deal massive damage while conserving ammo. It's also important as newer enemies will need you to focus on certain body parts to lower their defense, such as the bone zombies. You also get some grenades, a fire and electric one in which you could do some damage with, and gives you some crowd control. I would also like to add, fuck the dog enemies, as they are so fast you're pretty much guaranteed to get hit at least once, no matter what, unless you get lucky. There is some crafting in the game. First, you have your guns in which you can find pieces to slap on them, which can increase stuff like attack and even how fast a laser turns into a critical attack. There are some parts that only fit certain guns, and there are even guns that can't have parts at all, but I think it's done because the gun would just become godlike. Another big part of crafting is ammo, as you can find bullet shells and specific gunpowders to make certain bullets for all your guns. You can even mix up the gunpowders to make the ammo you want, and the game lets you know what each powder makes, and which powder to combine to make the powder you want, so you're not taking a blind leap in what powder you're trying to make. You can get ammo just by normal pickups and 2 different shots if you trade in some herbs, though crafting is where your main ammo resource is coming from. I felt there was enough shells and powders to get you through the game, and there was only one point where I felt like I was running low, though that was because I was being careless. As I mentioned, you do have herbs as well, and just like classic Resident Evil, you can find and mix them up. So 3 green herbs combined as full health, or red and green can get you that too. And there's a good amount of herbs laying around. To do your gun crafting, you have to be at a crafting table, but any other mixing you do can be done at any time, which is welcome since otherwise it will be a huge pain in the ass. Exploration is a big part of the game and you're rewarded for it, as not only can you find some ammo and shells like I mentioned, you can also find keys that will lead you to gun pieces that make a brand new and super powerful gun. The game also has a great map, giving you a nice look of all the areas and where you are and have been. You never feel lost even without the map, since the layout is so well done you have a good idea where you are or how to get to a specific area. Also, exploring is not a problem since there is a good amount of save stations which you don't need an item to save, and all the storage boxes share the items you put away, and you can even find pouches to increase how much you can carry. The crafting tables are in the save rooms as well. Looking everywhere also helps in being able to get one of the 2 endings. Just be sure to get the fishtail key that leads to another door with the security key to help Kay. If you're the type that loves puzzles in your horror game, then you're in for a treat. They did a fantastic job with these, as while they make you use your noodle and never falls into that frustrating zone. The hints to the answers are always nearby, be it visually, documents, or even cryptic writing. I really did enjoy my time figuring them out and even had some oh moments as well. There's also some boss encounters in this game which are pretty fun and are about knowing the right moment to stick and move, and it's usually in closed areas so you gotta be aware of your space. The game does have some items you can unlock for future playthroughs, such as infinite ammo pouches for certain ammo types, and the game is even nice enough to let you know how to unlock them, and getting them is pretty easy, like getting X amount of kills with a certain gun. I love unlockables like this as it makes you feel like a god in your next runs. Now, if you're curious if you should bother with part 1 before the sequel, I can say you don't really need to play it if you don't want to. As I mentioned, there are documents that kind of catch you up with what happened. Though if you really want to play it, the game ain't bad. It's about 3 hours long and you can see the building blocks for this game and how greatly the developers improved on it. I do have to add that you may have noticed me in a different armor than what the game advertises. And I also start with a gun stronger than the base pistol. I don't know if this is because I have the save file from part 1 or if it was added in an update. So I'm not sure if you'll get this sweet Resident Evil RPG inspired look just by playing the game normally. I know the art style is kind of chibi-like, but I don't think it takes away from the game at all. It still gives off a creepy vibe as you're exploring this research center. While you start off in the lab area, the other areas do vary, like a cemetery, mansion, and even a spot where it seems like a garden party was happening. I think all of the character designs look great, like our zombies who are all disheveled, and as I mentioned, the game does add more like the bloated zombies to spice things up. Then you have the boss designs which all have a unique flair to them. The blood work is really good and there's plenty of it with great sounds that make popping zombies' heads really satisfying to hear and see. There's no voice work if you're curious, it's just grunts and stuff like that. The camera is also fine for the most part, as when you get close to the walls they tend to turn transparent so you can get a good look. There were only really rare moments where the camera made me get caught off guard. The game ran pretty good during my playtime, only getting some frame drops where shit got really crazy, which was rare, and I never ran into any bugs. This was the case in both docked and handheld play. I had a fantastic time with this game as it's a really enjoyable horror title with fun combat, good atmosphere, and well done puzzles that don't get you frustrated. The game took me about 7.5 hours to complete, and when it comes to replay value, you have all the unlockables like Infinity Ammo, a harder difficulty if you want to try that, and a different ending. So I will say there is some meat on this bone. If you have an itch for a horror game similar to the classic Resident Evils, then this is a 100% must play, and I promise you, you won't regret it. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.